Sometimes life just sucks, and sometimes it freaking rocks. We will discuss all the things from family and real estate to travel and just life in general. So take a seat, or don't, you do you, and welcome to the Lambadass Podcast.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Nicole was recently away in Italy by herself for how many days? 11?
9.
Okay, it felt like 42, but because I missed you so much. And the funny part of that is I missed her because I was on vacation for like 2.5 weeks. And then I touched down in LA and she had been in the air for like 3 hours. Mm-hmm. So we literally crossed one another. But this is the first time I'm seeing you in like almost a month. And I know. I'm so happy
and
I could
saw you briefly because Cabo. Well, I saw you in Cabo and then I stayed. And then I saw you right before you left.
So we did go to Cabo right before. I did that on accident. Today, by the way, we're talking about travel. So if you are a travel fanatic, we are here for you. But you walked in the door and I was literally like, hi, oh my gosh, like a little kid on Christmas. I
was so happy too.
We talk all the time, and we went from talking all the time to she would text me, okay, I have to talk to you. And so we talk business, but it was never like, how's everything? How's the kids? How are they liking it? And we're so much more than just work friends. Yes. We are family friends.
Yes.
So needless to say, so we went, just to give some background, we went to Cabo. Mm-hmm. We were in Cabo the weekend after Father's Day. You were there for a whole week.
I was.
Did you love it?
I did, but okay, this is the difference between my Italy trip and my Cabo.
Okay, tell me.
I'm a doer vacationer. I felt guilty, or it's tied to like worth and production, but halfway through Cabo, I'm like, how many days can I sit by the pool? So, I mean, it was glorious. And in the moment, I'm like, enjoy this, enjoy this, enjoy this. But then when it came to Italy, because I had all these excursions planned,
yep.
I was busy every single day and exhausted, but it gave me life.
Okay, I can totally relate to that. My guilt comes more from not working, believe it or not. Like when I got back from Europe, I was so ready. I was missing clients. I was currently in 2 escrows that we're getting ready to wrap up. And one of my clients was like, I miss just talking to you. And I'm like, you should have just called. And it's funny. Hindsight's 2020, right? Yeah. Like, I'm glad that I got the time with my family and everything, but I really did miss work. So back to the background. So we went to Cabo. We celebrated my 40th birthday. Yes. Thank you for being there. Y'all, I had 66 people there. 66.
And Lauren did a handwritten note for everyone, which was so sweet.
Thank you.
Special.
It did.
And you were like the busiest person in the world. So how you got that done as well was pretty spectacular.
Thank you. I sat down at my computer. I can type faster than I can write. And I typed them all out, but they were individual letters to everyone, and I made them beautiful. At least I tried.
They were beautiful.
I put them on some really pretty like vellum and then put some paper and stuff. I think what it comes down to is just being so amazingly appreciative that so many people took time out of their lives. Almost all of my friends have children, whether they're adult children or little children. Almost every single person that was there, aside from my own children, had kids. Mm-hmm. They left their families. They found sitters. They spent the money. I mean, that costs money to go, even though it was a great deal, because I'm always thinking travel deals, even though it was a great deal in the whole scheme of things. Like, reality is that's a lot of money for somebody to go and travel and to go to a different country and to go to a country that some people don't feel really comfortable going to and stuff. And I was just so touched and the whole time I was there, I was looking at people that were there, and I had friends from Miami. I had friends from Vegas. I had my sister from Seattle, and she's not from Seattle, but they currently live in Port Orchard, Washington. And my parents just... It was just a love fest on me, and it made me feel so good. And it's funny because a lot of people were like, I don't even want to talk to 66 people. And I can tell you that every person who was there, I love. We have great relationship. I feel that we both nurture our relationships. Obviously, there's times when you're talking to more people than others, but everything comes in season and waves. I hope that everybody just felt so loved by me, because for them to come for the sole purpose of supporting me and loving on me, not even supporting me, but loving on me was amazing. I had people you guys are never going to believe this story, so I'll tell it real quick. There was a handful of people who were on a flight from LA headed to Cabo, and the flight was delayed. And then it was supposed to leave at like 8 a.m. And one of my girlfriends was like, I'll have a margarita waiting for you. And I was already annoyed that my flight had been delayed. And I'm like, this is supposed to be my party. Like I was really stressed out on Thursday because Thursday night we had a bonfire for everybody. And it was just kind of like a welcome bonfire. So people who had, and you had the whole week if you wanted to go. I didn't have the time to do that with work. So we went down Thursday to Sunday, but some people had been down there since Monday. Some people were staying until the following week. So it was just kind of a way to kind of wrangle everybody up together. We had a full bar set up. There was a beautiful bonfire. It was hotter than hell, but it was a beautiful bonfire and people got to roast marshmallows. It was so fun. And I just kept thinking, I'm not going to make it to my own party. I have to get to the hotel, which is an hour from the airport. I knew that all in advance. And then once I get there, I have to change because I'm going to be all hot and sweaty and gross. And it ended up working out so amazing. It was so wonderful. But anyways, these people were leaving from LAX. My girlfriend was going to have my margarita ready for me until she wasn't. And the flight got delayed. Finally, they were like, your flight's at like 9. And they're like, okay. So they had been there since, well, it's an international flight. So assume they've been at LAX since 5 a.m. We live an hour from LAX. So they were up probably around 3:30. It's now 9 p.m. And they find out that the flight has been completely canceled. And they are hoping to get them on a 7 a.m. flight the next morning. So one of my friends and her spouse was like, I'm out, which I totally would have said the same thing. Refund me my money, give me my money back, I'm done. And so they were out. The other couples, there was 3 of them, they stayed. They were put up in a hotel. The 6 of them went to dinner. They were like, I don't know how they even found each other. They must have seen it like on social media or something. I don't know. But they went to dinner and then the flight left the next morning at 7 a.m. Well, from LA, it's only a 2.5, 3 hour flight max. So they get to LA and Cabo reroutes them to Puerto Vallarta because there is a sinkhole, like a massive, I shouldn't say sinkhole, it's a pothole, a huge pothole in the center of the landing strip at the Cabo airport. And so I'm texting, my girlfriend Mandy is texting, the one that was going to have my margarita ready for me. She's texting me and she's like, we're being rerouted to Puerto Vallarta. And I'm like, you are fucking lying. And she's like, I can't make this up. Have I told you this story, Billy? Oh my gosh. So I'm like, you are lying. And she's like, I'm so delirious. I could cry. Like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, go home. Do not come. Do not feel obligated to be there. And she's like, oh no, we are coming. They land in Puerto Vallarta. They don't let anybody off the plane. They fixed the pothole. They were up in the air in another 4 hours. My actual party was that evening. So they just missed the bonfire. They had not missed the actual party yet, but they show up and we had drinks and cocktails ready for them to go. One of my guests, who will remain nameless, if she hears this podcast, she's going to die. We got her so wasted in the 30 minutes that we had before my party that she didn't even make it to the party. She met us at the after party at the club. Anyways, we had so much fun. It was amazing and I loved it. So thank you so much for being there.
Of course. It was wonderful.
I took too much time to tell that story. I want to hear, okay, so we got back on Sunday. And then I left that following Friday for Europe. I was in we took my whole family went, aside from my oldest and his wife, they have adult responsibilities. They have dogs and they have jobs. So they were with us for Cabo, but couldn't go with us to Europe. So, the 3 younger boys, younger than Jacob, my mom and dad, and Sweetie Pie and I, and we went to Paris and then we went to, I want to say Brussels. Yeah. Munich. We went to Munich. Uh-huh. And then we flew to Athens and did a cruise of the Greek islands and had the most amazing time. Now, what I do not recommend is you planning back-to-back vacations like that. Do you know that that was an accident?
No, I thought it was purposely planned this way.
Absolutely not. And David even told me you can't do that again because I don't know when the right time is to get a haircut. I was like, okay, I was thinking about my nails, but I get it. So no, what had happened was I had planned the birthday party a year in advance because I wanted everybody to be there. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to give everybody ample time to not only put it in their schedules, but to find sitters, save money, do all that stuff. But I didn't realize water polo. So my boys play club water polo, but water polo, thank God I planned it like all around that. I had to plan it around Junior Olympics in case they made Junior Olympics. And then I had to plan it around the schedule for the school because school tryouts are happening right now. So even though it's their last week off of school, I still had to be here. So I looked at the calendar and I was like, oh shit, we have to go like 4 days after we get back. So that week was kind of a blur. It was a blur of working, getting things organized, putting things, and we're fairly organized as a team anyways, but it was doing marketing and filming and scheduling things. So it was kind of a whirlwind right before I left. And then I'm sure it was a shit show while I was gone. I apologize.
No,
it always is.
It was just busy. That was it. It was busy, but it was great. It was
Which
good.
we're super grateful for it being busy.
Busy
So
is a good thing.
So thank you. And then, like I said, I touched down. So we started our cruise in Athens and we ended in Athens, and then we flew home. I definitely want to go into my trip a little bit, but I feel like yours is more intriguing. So the only thing I'll say about my trip is I usually try to fly into Paris because Paris is the least expensive from LAX that I have found to fly into. So I can get flights anywhere for $350, and it's direct into Orly. So Paris has two main airports. You have Charles de Gaulle and then you have Orly. I love flying into Orly because it's smaller than Charles de Gaulle. Charles de Gaulle is huge. So if I can fly into a smaller airport, I will pick that 90% of the time. And for it being the price that it is, it's extremely, you can fly their version of first class for $700 round trip. And
Really?
yes,
Wow.
that's why if I can hop on a plane to Paris and then once you're in Europe, you guys, it's very inexpensive to travel through Europe, whether it's by train or plane. It's very inexpensive in comparison to what it is here. So, and I'm just talking through my experiences. So if you don't travel the way that Nicole or I do, that's okay. I'm just letting you know for us it's fairly reasonable. But yeah, if flying coach and if you want a little extra legroom and stuff, it's, an extra $25. You can get every time, and they feed you. It's an airline called French Bee. I am not, I was going to say solicited by them. That's not the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? Not sponsored by them. But I have flown enough times on them this year. I will have flown on them 6 times this year.
Wow.
They're very inexpensive. And
I'm going to have to look for them now.
You really need to. So I found them when I went to Paris with my mom and my sister at the beginning of the year. But to me, flights for $350, you really can't beat it. And they will give you like a little calendar so you can see when the cheapest times are. So one way that I am able to travel so much and with my big family is because I do look for deals. I very rarely will go on a vacation if it did not come in some form of a good deal. And a good deal to me is something that I wouldn't normally, how do I say this? It's something where it's like, that's amazing. I also do use a lot of points. So if I know that to fly first class, like for example, on Air France can run me up to $20,000, I know that paying $700 is a good deal. So that's kind of my idea of a good deal. I will also say I loved Munich. I forgot how much I loved Germany. My boys loved Germany. They had so much fun. Connor's favorite is always Paris, but I think Jared and Carson really loved Germany. Connor loved Paris so much, by the way. He's taking Duolingo to learn French.
Wow.
So he's like, you have to do it with me. So him and I are on Duolingo. We send each other challenges and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. So we're learning it together. Anyway, we'll spend hours on it too. And then ending in Greece was amazing. I highly recommend cruising Greece. Highly. It was very different than what I thought it was going to be. I thought everything was going to be white with blue, and it wasn't. And
Just one island is that way, right? Santorini?
no.
Or Ia within Santorini, right?
Yes. Okay, so that area, but not everything is that way. So on Mykonos, it is law that you have to paint your house white. Every building on Mykonos has to be white. You can paint the shutters whatever color you want and the door, but it has to be white. In fact, there's our tour guide was telling us that there's a certain time frame where they it's like before the crazy season, but after like the winter season. So it's not rainy and stuff like that, where everybody, they even paint the walkways.
Wow.
And they paint them once a year. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I only did Santorini when I went to, in Athens, but yeah, I would have loved to have gone to all the other islands.
Athens is cool. Everybody was like, it's dirty, it's this, it's that. I'm used to big cities. I did not think Athens was dirty. I thought the food was flippin' delicious. I could have eaten there. I could have stayed there probably a week on just the food alone because it was so good. But especially traveling with kids, what my concern was going to Greece was spending too much time on one island or not enough time on an island. So if I did Mykonos for 2 days and really wanted an extra day, or Santorini, and we went to Hydra, we went to Santorini, we went to Mykonos, we went to Thessaloniki, which is actually not an island. It's actually on the mainland. We went to Athens, and we went to Kushadasi, which is in Turkey.
Oh.
Dare I say?
Oh, that's where the rug. I saw you on Instagram choosing a rug, right?
I was so excited. I walked in with a rug. Okay, so really quick on the rug story, and then we're totally going to dive into your thing. Mark Pattison, who is a very good friend of mine, he's an amazing real estate agent down in San Diego. I love you, Mark, very much, if you're listening to this. He runs an incredible team down there. My cousin's actually on his team. I mean, just he's like family to me. So I'm staying the night at his house, and him and his husband have this beautiful area rug. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just drinking water, like no big deal. And I totally spilled this water. Like I knocked the glass over. I don't even know how I did it. I'm clumsy. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. And so we're cleaning it up, and I said something along the lines of like, thank God it's a rug, like it's just water. And he's like, yeah, it's not like I got it in Morocco or anything. And I'm like, ha. And then I stopped and I looked at him. He's like, no, really, I got it in Morocco. So all I could think of was, oh my gosh, I just screwed up this rug. So when we went to Turkey, I told David ahead of time, I was like, I really want to get a rug. And he was like, where do you want to put it? So we had kind of talked about where we wanted to put it. And I told him I wanted something that was very different from what we had in our home. Our home to me is more streamlined, very clean. We live in it, so don't get me wrong, but things are very organized, very put away. But I wanted something that was very different. So the rug that I picked is so different than anything that I have, and I'm so excited. And if Mark comes over and spills water on it, I won't be mad.
So did you have it delivered, or you brought it with you?
Not yet. So it is being delivered, and it's so funny because you walk in and my kids. It was so neat. We got to see how like silk was made and everything. I really loved Turkey. I thought Turkey was going to be a lot more desert than it was. It's actually the area that we were in was very lush and very green. I would love to go to Istanbul. I would love to see it. Everybody was so kind. My mom, bless her heart, she's walking around and she's like, where can I get a Christmas ornament? And Sweetie Pie was like, Val, you're like in a Muslim area of this country. You're not going to find a Christmas ornament. So we had to buy keychains to make into Christmas ornaments. That's
a cute idea.
It was cute. But even though they were not the same religion as us and celebrate the same holidays, they were still very gracious. And the food, again, was incredible. It was lovely. They love to barter. They love to try to drag you into their stores. So that was one thing that I'm like, ugh. But I kind of came to expect it. So it was awesome. We got to see the Virgin Mary's home, or at least some time where she spent after Jesus was crucified, which was such an amazing experience to us. I had such a great time. But the rug, so that's how we ended like our tour. So they start their prices at like $15,000.
Oh my God.
And they look at you like, you have the money for that, you should spend it. And I'm like, I don't know who, I'm like looking around like, I don't know who he's looking at that thinks is going to buy a $15,000 up in this room, but it sure as hell is not going to be me. So naturally, I bartered the shit out of it and doing what I do best. And I cannot tell you how many times Connor later came to me and was like, Mom, it was so incredible to see you in that realm. Like you told him like where you wanted to be and you got him to where you wanted to be. And I said, I had a threshold. Obviously I went a little bit under that. I said, but once we got to that threshold, that was it. And I said, Connor, the difference between me and somebody else is I was ready to walk out without a rug. If I didn't get it there, I could have gotten it somewhere else. I would have figured a way out to get a rug from where I wanted to get it from for the price that I wanted to get it from. I said, I think he knew he wasn't going to get what he wanted for it. And it was funny because my max budget was a certain amount and it was still under it was over still my budget was over what I bought it for. So I bought it for less than what my real budget was. And I had told him a price and he kept upping it by $25. And so I took his calculator and I subtracted 50. And then he added the 25 and I said, fine. And so Connor was like, he was not going to let you out of there for him having the last word. He had to have the last word. I said, and for $25, he can have it.
Nice.
So it was awesome. So our experience was amazing.
Cool that they witnessed you at work.
It was really neat. It was funny because Connor, he got down to a certain number and he's like, I almost looked at you and just like, Mom, just buy it. And he's like,
I'm
but
tired of this.
He's like, but I knew if I opened my mouth that it would screw up the whole deal. He's like, and I said, you know what, Connor, that's really good self-control. We had this whole conversation about it afterwards, and it was neat. And then the other two started chiming in and stuff, but it was really Connor who really noticed. So it was really neat to see that and to have that. And Carson, as we were leaving, he was like, I did not know that that's how they make silk. That's amazing, and how strong it is. And Jared is my quiet one, but they have you sign your rug when you leave. They have you do that so you know that that's the rug that you're getting when it arrives. And so I looked at Jared. I'm like, do you want to sign it? And his eyes lit up, and he's like, yeah. So we got down there and he signed the rug. So we all got to sign the rug. Aww. We get it probably in another like 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
So I can't wait.
Very fun.
Okay, but you, my friend, just got back from 11. Did you say 11?
9.
I don't know why I have 11.
Well, was it?
Maybe with travel?
Maybe with travel it was 11.
Okay.
Because I think I had 9 days of hotel booked.
Okay, so tell me how this all started first.
Well, I've always wanted to go to Italy. It's been a childhood dream of mine. And I was supposed to go when I was married. And then we separated, so I was no longer invited to this trip. But my girls ended up going.
Oh, okay.
So they had gone to Italy. That's when I did my first passport trip ever with my friend. And that's when I did Greece and Paris and Vienna.
Nice.
So I did my own thing. But every summer, my girls go back to New York and spend time with their dad's family. So I know that's my opportunity to travel. So I'm like, okay, this year I'm doing Italy. This is what I want to do. I'm going to finally do it. And I invited a few friends. And then most of them could not come. So I'm like, I'm just going to do it by myself. Like the invitation's out there to whoever would like to join me. But no matter what, I'm going.
We even talked about me, since I was going to be flying home from Athens. We even talked about me flying home and, well, not flying home, but flying and stopping. We had a layover in Paris, and I was like, well, I could just get on a plane and meet you in Italy. One, I could not be away from work that long. Like, it just would not have it wouldn't have happened, especially since you've been gone. It's been crazy at work too. But Sweetie Pie looked at me and he's like, I don't even know if you're really asking me this, but absolutely not. Like, and I'm like, no.
David, what if I needed a companion?
I know, because it's so cute. Because when you did get home and I was talking to you, he was like, I'm so glad she's back alive. And I'm like, I love his love for you. But
my aunt just said the same thing to me too. She saw me and she's like, I'm so glad you made it home. I said, were you scared I wasn't going to make it home?
Right.
A lot of people were very scared for me for this solo travel of mine.
You are a smart person. I'm dying of heat, so I have to take my jacket
I'm
off.
sweating over here too.
I know you, and I know I did send you a few reels, but I was more like, don't tell anyone you're by yourself. Do this, do that. And I'm like, please just make sure you do all these things. Okay. And I'm sure you were like, you're a lunatic, but I wasn't concerned that you were going to come home. I knew you were going to have a great time. I was more concerned about you not going.
Yeah. I almost canceled because I just felt when I went before, my girlfriend, which if I never took that trip, I never would have done this trip. So she kind of opened my eyes to travel, and she had been a world traveler all over the place.
Which friend is this? Do I know this person?
Her name's Lily. She lives up north.
Oh, okay.
She's one of my best friends.
I know of her.
And she used to teach for America, and so she really opened the eyes to a lot of kids that never had the opportunity to travel because of the demographic they were in. And so she would do these trips with them and sponsor them. And
so cool.
Now so many of them are travelers like decades later. So I was kind of like that person. Like she inspired me and showed me how accessible it was.
Sure.
I wasn't exposed to that as a kid. Our trips were like Palm Springs for the weekend or Vegas. We never did international trips.
Sure. We didn't do international either until I was 18.
Really?
Sweetie Pie went with me on my first. I take that back. I mean, we did go to Mexico. My parents loved to cruise a lot and stuff. So we did Mexico a lot. But like as far as like going overseas, that never happened until I was 18 either. So we have that in common. Yeah. But anyways, go ahead.
So I was like, I'm going to do it. But then it started to get so overwhelming. Like, oh, shoot, I have to book a train to get to this place and then take a metro. And being in SoCal, we're not exposed to that kind of public transportation. So
True.
It just seemed like so much. And then I had issues with an Airbnb situation. And so I'm like, should I just cancel this trip? And I had a handful of super supportive friends that were like, do not cancel this trip. And one in particular, he was like my travel angel. He is a world traveler as well. And he was like, Nicole, solo travel is not about having fun. It's about growth. And I'm so glad that he set me up like that. So I had this mindset because I encountered some issues in the beginning that some of my friends were like, oh my God, I would have just went home at this point.
Yep.
And every time I encountered something, I was like, this is for girl. This is for girl. I'm growing right now. And that's how I looked at it. And every time I had a challenge, I met someone incredible.
I was just going to say that.
Like
You met
universe
so
would
many.
bring me someone incredible.
Yes, you met so many amazing people. I could just tell. And the pictures that you would take with them, it's like, that's so her person. Like, that is her. So,
Yeah.
okay. So,
because I needed to so my other trip is all documented.
Yes.
I'll go back and I'll look at things,
Yes.
videos, and it just brings me so much joy. So I like to document everything. So people might have been like, oh my God, will this girl stop posting? But it's really for myself and for those that are interested.
we did it. If Sweetie Pie went through your stories, I was like, you have to tell me if you go through Nicole's stories because I really want to see them. And then my mom would call and be like, okay, wait, where is Nicole at now? Is she by herself? When does she come home? And I'm like, oh my God, can I have her itinerary? I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, all the
I
things.
had a lot of people reaching out. And so it almost felt like I was not traveling by myself because I had so many people reaching out.
I bet.
And it was really sweet. And they were like, no, keep posting. I'm following along. And so many people said, I'm so inspired. I now want to travel by myself. I've always been scared to do so. And people I met along the way, too, that they were like, you're traveling by yourself? And I said, yes.
I told you not to tell anybody. So you ended up telling people.
Oh, they became my friends.
Rule number 1. No, you have enough friends, Nicole.
And it was so, and I got matched up with a lot of young people because they were kind of traveling, brother, sisters, young couples. And they just kind of took me under their wings and yeah, it was great. It was really great.
So what parts? Okay, so first of all, I think you should tell the story about how you got to London. You had a layover in London.
I did. Well, first,
Where'd you fly into? Heathrow or Gatwick?
Gatwick.
I love Gatwick. Smaller airport.
It was lovely.
Wasn't it
So at first I was delayed because there was some kind of air traffic control issue. So we sat in the tarmac at LAX for an hour. Then they said they were rerouting us and now we needed more fuel. So then we had to wait for the tanker to come, get us more fuel, and then we took off. So I'm like, shoot, I only had a 9-hour layover in London. And I purposely scheduled that layover.
Because I was like, that is too long.
Yes. No, I chose that one so I could go into the city because I did that in Vienna with my friend. So that was kind of my blueprint. Take the train in, do a quick little tour, and then get back on.
Yep.
So I'd never been to London. So I'm like, shoot, now I only have like 8 hours. And so I get there, I have to find like where I store my luggage. It was kind of, no one knew where this luggage storage is. They're like, we have that here. I'm like, yes, I found it online. Like, where is this? And so I finally found it, checked my bag, kept my backpack, and then got on the train. I had to figure out which train. And I was so proud of myself. It seems so silly and like infantile. I was like, oh my God, I found the right train and I'm on it. And I got off at the right place. So I got off, come out, and it felt like Disneyland, like the little cafes on the corner.
Yeah.
And it was just so fun. And I was going on no sleep. And the night before a trip, I hardly sleep anyways because I'm a packing procrastinator. So
It makes me so anxious.
I was
You're
actually
packing.
proud of how good I was. I like most things were packed other than my toiletries,
Okay.
but
That is progress.
it is. But I still, I don't get any sleep.
My sister was shopping for a bra the night before she left for Cabo. And she's telling my brother-in-law, I think I'm going to go and get a jean jacket. I'm like, girlfriend, it is 9 p.m. Everything is closed and your flight is first thing tomorrow morning. You are going to pack your damn bag. Like, it gives me anxiety.
Your sister and I could be packing buddies.
Totally, because I'm packed. I'm almost done packing for my trip coming up for my anniversary.
Oh my gosh.
Not really, but I will be packed that quickly.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So I find someone to give me a rickshaw tour. I told this guy, I'm like, okay, I only have this amount of time. I really want to get fish and chips. That's my number one thing when I'm here in London. This is a place I found. He's like, okay, I'll drop you there off at the end and I'll take you to all the main spots. I'll take pictures of you. He's blasting the music. It's like this furry rickshaw with the lights. His name was Ali. He was
It's like
so
a tuk-tuk,
fun.
right? Like
yes.
Oh my gosh.
And so we'd stop like at the London Bridge and I'd hop out and he'd take a picture and I'd take a few pictures. We'd hop back on and it was so fun. And he was so lovely too. And then he dropped me off in Soho, which is where I wanted to go for fish and chips.
Mm-hmm.
And this was outside of his tour, but he was really sweet about it.
And it was just the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And then from there, I walked back to the Victoria Station. I took the train back to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
And again, so proud that I figured it all out. I mean, thank goodness for technology. I don't know how I would have done this like 30 years ago without Google Maps.
For sure.
It was amazing. So I get back to the airport. I'm in line for security and I get a text. Flight's been delayed 3 hours. So I'm like, man, I could have stayed in London longer, but okay, oh well. So I get through security, and London is very strict about their liquids. So even though everything was under like the travel size, you're allowed one bag. Period. Just one. And they have all the Ziplocs there. And she starts pulling up lip glosses. That counts as liquid. Liquid eyeliner. So she has a pile of stuff. She's like, none of this can come in with you. I'm like, oh my God, I have like all this expensive
That is
facial
so
care
lame.
stuff.
How stupid.
I know. And I had no problems at LAX. I never had issues with that with my carry-ons.
I never have either.
As long as it's travel size, they've never said anything. So she goes, well, you can check your bag if you want. And I thought, well, I have 3 hours. So sure, I'll check my bag. And then I can take these liquids with me.
That's ridiculous.
I know. So that's what I did. So I went back out of security, checked my bag, was overweight. So I'm shuffling things. It's still overweight. And it's this automated conveyor belt. And when it goes all the way through, it means that it was underweight. And so it comes back a couple times. I rearrange things again. I put it in and it goes back. And I'm like, yes! I'm like jumping up and down. I was so excited.
I would have been like holding that shit while I was weighing it, like holding it. And then once it go.
But then it gets the edge. It's like, oh,
No.
So it comes back. I'm like, oh my God. And this lady like saw me do my happy dance that worked for the airlines. And she's like, bring your bag over here. And so she puts on, she's like, it's okay. And so she let it go through. It was like a pound over. So I'm like, thank you so much. So I get through security. Like, I'm winning at this. It's okay. I have a 3-hour layover. I get a 20-minute massage, one of those little chair massage places.
I love it.
I go and I look at the information board, and it still shows my flight, gate not determined. So I have no idea where I'm supposed to wait. I just know my terminal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's getting late. Restaurants are closing. One restaurant's left open. I haven't really eaten much other than the chips and fish and chips.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm going to get into Florence after midnight. So I go eat, and I'm having this burger. It was really good. I glance up at the board, and I see my flight, and it suddenly says, gate closed. I went, what? And I panicked because I had been watching my phone. I knew I was not leaving until 11 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 9:45 right now. So I grab my stuff. I book it to the gate. And I can see the plane. And this flight attendant says to me, are you Nicole? And I said, yeah. She goes, you missed your flight. I said, wait, what? How is this possible? And then I thought I messed up because everything is like military time.
Right, right.
And I kept having to like subtract 2 hours and like, oh my God, did I mess this up? And I said, well, the plane's still there. Can't I just get on? And she said, no, I think he locked the door already. We're actually pulling your suitcase, the one that I checked because of my liquids.
Oh, shit.
So I said, okay. I said, well, can you check? And so they go down, and she said, yeah, it's already locked. Go wait at customer service for your bag, and then you have to be escorted out of the airport because it was an international flight that you missed. So I have to go through customs anyway.
Shut up.
Mm-hmm. So it's 10 o'clock now. Again, my flight wasn't supposed to leave till 11, but I think I messed this up. So I go back, and I have like trip insurance for a layover situation. So I go back and I wait at customer service. No one is there. Nobody is there. So I'm waiting, and I call Kiwi, which is the booking company that I had booked the flight with.
Uh-huh.
And the lady says, you have plenty of time to make your flight. It doesn't leave for an hour. And I said, no, it just left. She goes, I'm showing it leaves at 23:01. And I said, I knew I didn't mess up. Like, what happened? So it was delayed 3 hours, but then they decided to leave only after 2 hours of a delay. But I got no notification.
Were they calling
phone.
your name on the speaker? Because a lot of times they do that through the airport.
I know. My name was not called. I got no new emails or texts like I had done for the original delay. So she's like, let me put you on hold. I'm like, this is an international call. Can you just call me back because I don't want to get charged for this? So I'm waiting again for customer service. A ton of people start coming from other flights. We all feel stuck. Some people don't even need their luggage, but they have to wait to be escorted as well. Like there's a sick little girl that they wouldn't allow on the plane. There's other people are speaking other languages, and everyone's getting so frustrated. So Kiwi calls me back, and they said, sorry, there's nothing we can do. It's up to you to be in the airport at your original time. And I said, I've been at this airport for 5 hours. I was here at the original time. The gate hadn't been determined. And then it suddenly was, and they must not have allowed very much time. Because when I noticed the next thing, it was gate closed.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, sorry, there's nothing we can do for you. So I said, well, when's the next flight? The next morning, but it's full. So I start looking. I have a girlfriend looking for me and another friend. The next flight that left out of Gatwick that was not full was going to put me into Florence with 2 layovers at 11 p.m. the following day. And it was $1,500.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I was like panicked. I didn't know what to do. And then this friend that was like the travel angel that told me to have that mindset, he finds a flight. He sends me a screenshot, and it's at a London City airport. First flight in the morning at 8:30, direct flight to Florence, British Airways for $350. So I said, okay, I'm booking it. So I booked
That's
it.
amazing.
Still don't have my luggage.
Wait, just for reference though, I want people to know, normally to go from London to Florence, I mean, you're looking at like $60, by the way. So $350 doesn't seem like a big number flight wise, because we probably pay that to go from LA to like Florida.
Yeah.
But when you're in London to go to Florence for $350, I mean, still better than $1,500 naturally. But
100%.
oh my
I
gosh,
know. And
normally
I
it's like
already
$60.
And I already paid for the ticket like the whole way. So anyhow, so they finally get my luggage. 2 hours later, we get all of this group of people gets escorted out of the airport. And I'm like, okay, I need to figure out how to get to London City Airport. And it's now midnight in a city I'm not familiar with. And even though I had like tackled the train situation, that was during the day, and now I'm a little nervous, and I'm like Googling, is it safe to walk around London at night?
Yes, it is.
So I have this really cool app called Rome to Rio, and you could put anywhere in the world in, and we'll give you all the options, whether it's Uber, train, walking, how much it will cost, how long it will take you.
Amazing.
So I put that in, and I'm going to have to take a train to a station, get off, switch trains, then take a metro. Then I can get to London City, or I can Uber for $200. So I thought, I'm going to do the train.
Yeah.
So I found a train attendant, and I was like, okay, which train do I need to take? And this other woman comes up, and she's unfamiliar with the train situation too. She's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's stick together. So she and I became pals, and we hopped on the train together, which was packed. And there was like a belligerent drunken man that was causing ruckus with everybody on the train. So I was
There's
like,
always one.
I'm so glad that you're with me right now. And then afterward, he was like trying to bum a smoke from her. So we get off for a transfer, and we go and ask an attendant, okay, where do we go for the next train? He goes, oh no, all the trains are shut down. Like, what? No, they told us to get on. He goes, oh no, they don't start back up until 5:30 in the morning. And it's like 12:30 midnight.
Shit.
So I'm like, oh my God. So we get up. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just Uber from here. I'm like halfway there. So it's not as expensive. She Ubers home. We say goodbye. We take our picture. I Uber to the airport. And I get there, and I say to my Uber driver, gosh, it looks so dead. Are they closed? He's like, I don't know. He drops me off. He's like out of there. I walk up to the airport, the glass sliding doors, and it's not automating. It's not opening. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like peeking in. A security guard comes over. He unlocks it. He looks at me, and I said, is the airport closed? Yep. Oh, I assumed that you guys were open 24 hours because Gatwick was.
Yeah.
And it's a smaller airport.
Yes.
And he's like, no, we don't open till the morning. I'm like, what time is that? And he points to a sign, and it says 4:45 a.m.
What time is it right now?
1:15 a.m.
Oh, shit.
And he goes, you can wait over there in the corner, like outside of the airport. In London, I was wearing a jean jacket during the day. It is now, early morning. It's freezing.
You were cold.
I was cold. So I put my little neck pillow around my neck so it would be like a scarf.
Yep.
And I like burrowed into the corner. I'm sitting there.
You look like a homeless person.
I did look like
Sweet friend. I'm so sorry.
And my phone battery was now at 10%. And my backup battery was completely dead because I'd been using it all day, taking pictures. And I thought I was getting on my flight and would be charged on the plane. I wasn't expecting this like last minute that I need a fully charged phone. So I have people checking in like, are you okay? I'm like, yes, I'm just sitting outside the airport now. So a pastry person comes with this whole tray of pastries. I'm like, hi. And he goes, oh my God. I said, I didn't want to startle you. I want to make sure you know I was here in the corner. And he's waiting for security to come. He's like, what are you doing? And I tell him my story. He's like, oh my gosh, that sounds awful. So he delivers his pastries, and he comes back. And he's like, here, I saved this for you. And he gives me a chocolate croissant. It was so sweet.
People are the best.
So I'm like starving. I'm eating this chocolate croissant. And more people keep coming in and out, but security will not let me in. And then this little travel angel came, Mario, and he didn't know that the airport didn't open until 4:45 as well. He came about 2:33 a.m., and he was traveling to Africa. He lived in Nottingham.
Oh, my gosh.
And he charged my phone for me. We chatted. We shared pictures of our kids, our backgrounds. We became buddies and kept each other company until 4:45.
Oh, my gosh.
And then I was let into the airport. And then I go to check in, and it's on the kiosk, and it says, see attendant.
Oh, no. I don't want to see nobody.
So
No.
I'm like, what? the hell? So I go and see an attendant. She goes, oh, you're standby. I'm like, what? I already paid for this ticket. Like, it said nothing about standby. I paid for this at midnight. And she goes, oh, it's a weight issue with the plane. So they don't know, because you bought your tickets the last minute, where they'll seat you.
Bitch, you calling me fat?
I was just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, but am I getting on? She's like, it looks like it. But there was not like 100% confirmation. So I'm so stressed. I already missed my morning an art history tour. My first night of accommodations that were already paid for in Florence.
Did you let them know, by the way, that you were going to be late?
I did. I emailed them.
And they were super chill?
They never responded.
Oh shit!
Because I didn't know I was gonna not be there until
a lot of times
midnight.
they'll give your room away. We've had that happen before.
Really? Well, no, I already paid for it in advance, so it was mine, whether I was sleeping there or not.
Well, so did we though.
Oh, really?
Where were we? I don't remember where we were, but I remember showing up and being like, "What do you mean you don't have my room?" And they're like, "Yeah, you're late." Yeah, no shit. I would have been here had I could. If I could have gotten here. And they totally gave our room. They had to they actually upgraded us. I don't know if it was because they didn't have a room to put us in, or if because my charming skills of being pissed off just, made them upgrade me. No, I think it was because they had nowhere else to put us.
She didn't even know until that morning, because they were doing, this was like a boutique hotel.
And you were getting there late anyways.
Yes. So they had set me up for self check-in.
Yep.
And so she's like, when I got here this morning, I thought, why is there still a key here? And she's like, then I opened my email and I saw that you were running late.
Oh, good. Okay.
And when I arrived, she's like, you finally made it.
Oh.
And I was like, I did finally make it.
Oh my God.
So I was able to board on. And it was so funny. I met this really cute couple, and they looked at me like as their daughter. They had 2 daughters that were in their late 20s, and they were like, you're traveling by yourself. And so she's kind of freaking me out about
You told way too many people.
Italy. Well, because they were my friends now.
No. No, nobody is your
I felt
friend.
like once people knew and I knew I could trust them, then they like wanted to help and protect me.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I was like, they're like, what group are you? And I said, well, I'm standby, and I'm group 9. And the guy's like, no, go, the husband. He was like, you need to get up there immediately, Nicole. This is a small plane. Do not check that bag. Make sure you get that bag on with you, just like you're selling a house. Because he wanted to know what I did.
Bless this man.
So he's like, just get up there and smile. And so he was like encouraged. So I get up there like on group 1, even though I'm group 9.
Yep.
And he's like, just smile, Nicole. And so I get up there, I'm talking to the girl, and she lets me in. And then when I got to Italy, he's like, you're glowing. And they were so sweet. They were just giving me the ins and outs and like, make sure you keep your purse close to you and blah, blah, blah.
All the stuff you knew, I'm sure.
Yeah. But they were absolutely lovely too. So I give them my card. Like when they come to LA, come see me.
Yes. And they
I
will.
brought cards. So I actually give out like 5 cards while I was there.
But I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize is when you travel, people are so different than people in the United States. So I have met so many people traveling abroad, that live abroad and that live in the States. And it is very much like that. When you are here, your family, you stay with me, you eat with me, we do things together. And then when I go to the States, I stay with you, I eat with you and do things with you. And I think that that's very foreign to Americans.
Yes.
So we really should take a number there's a lot of things we should take the numbers from Europeans, because I feel like they do so many things so much better than we do. I do think that we do wonderful things and better things than they do on some aspects as well. But there's so many things that I'm like, why did we change that? Like, we came from this. Our country was literally built off of this. Why did we change that? But
one thing is the train. Like, having the train go directly into the airport is so convenient.
Brilliant. That's what we did when we landed in Munich. We jumped right on the train. I was going more for when you go to the public restrooms. Totally opposite of where you were going with the trains. They have a little soap dispenser, and they have a little thing, little wipes. I mean, it's all disposable, but you put the soap on it, you wipe off the toilet seat, and then you sit down. Way better than
This was in Germany?
Yes.
Oh,
Germany. I saw this in Germany, and I saw this in Athens.
Oh, wow.
I think it was Athens.
Okay.
It might have just been in Greece
I didn't
itself.
see that in Italy.
And I saw it on the cruise ship.
Nice.
I know, it was amazing. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
I finally made it to Florence. Ta-da!
Which, thank you, Jesus. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pause here.
Okay.
Because we need to do another episode.
Okay.
Otherwise, people are gonna be like, I'm over this travel. But I loved it. That was so amazing. I want to hear all about how you went through Italy and by yourself. So you guys will have to tune in next time to catch that episode. But as always, my love, thank you so much for coming to the Badass Podcast. You're the best. And I'm so glad you're home.
I am too.
Perfect.